Start. Hello. So, welcome to the time banking session. I'll be coordinating. The schedule is not in the program, so I will write it here for you, for everyone to know, okay? What is the schedule? First, there will be general presentations of main participants. So we will have Sarah from Time Banking UK, Jean from L'Échangeur and French Time Banks, and we'll have Coin also presenting their design methodology of currencies, okay? And we'll have an open floor in case anyone wants to introduce themselves. I don't know, maybe Julio wants to talk, or Julio is the president of the Spanish Time Bank Association, I am a member of, okay? The second part of the rest of the session, we will have 3 topics to cover, okay? We will talk during 1 hour or maybe less, 40 minutes, about pros and cons. We will discuss the creation of a European time banking network. Apparently there is willingness. We're creating one time banking network in Spain, so we can visit other time banks in Spain. And it seems there is the intention to do so with other countries, okay? Then we'll have the break, okay? And the last 2 hours will cover 2 other topics. One will be time banking and elderly care and persons with disability care, or older persons' well-being in general, okay? Here we'll have the presentations from Just Add Spice, from Moshi. I don't know, she's in the room, okay, hello. And we'll have the presentation of Coin of their case, successful case, Samen Doen, okay? This will be from 5 to 6, okay? And by the way, at 5 o'clock, so just after the break, the first presentation that we will have will be a Skype connection. We will do a Skype connection with a very interesting case, which is Zeit vor Sorge from Austria, okay? They confirmed. It will be a short presentation, but it's such an interesting case. They have a time pension fund. It's so innovative, so interesting, and they will be presenting that at 5. So we'll have Zeit vor Sorge, Just Add Spice, Samen Doen from 5 to 6. And then from 6 to 7, we'll discuss the topic of time banking for community inclusion of migrants and refugees, okay? And here, Hugo Vanner will present the case of Torekes, okay, which is not exactly time bank, but I don't know, it's on the topic, and it's a very interesting case. And we'll present the case of the Spanish, we have some time banks with experience in this field, so we will present those experiences. So I give you the floor.
I think am I okay to talk into this microphone? Yep. Okay, thank you very much. My name's Sarah Bird. I'm the Chief Executive of Time Banking UK. And my talk today is to explain to you a little bit about what we are doing with regards to time banking across the UK, who our organisation is, and what we do, and with some examples around older people, refugees and asylum seekers, and people with disabilities, and some of the latest information that we have to share with you. So, to start with, just to explain that we are the only membership organisation in the UK that provides all the resources, support and information that is needed for individuals and organisations to set up and run community-led time banks. We give advice and support, but mostly networking, so we have got regional networks across the entire UK where time banks can come together and meet other time bank coordinators and brokers to share any concerns or challenges or ideas that they might have. And Time Banking UK promotes person-to-person time banking as our specialism. So person-to-person time banking, as many of you will know, is where people are helping one another in the communities, in their homes and in their gardens. So we have a specialisation on how we minimise risk and make sure that everyone feels safe when they're part of a time banking network. And we do this by having a working declaration. So every time bank that is created, or every time banking network that is created in the UK, would sign up to work to our working declaration. And that is about working to a set of policies and procedures that we recommend. And once they have signed up to those working declaration and that policy in which they would work, they are then entitled to approach a UK insurance company. We have a relationship with several insurance companies in the UK that will then provide an insurance policy for a time bank to cover them for anything that might happen to go wrong. We also have a national quality mark, which time banks are welcome to apply for. And this is to show that they can be examples of best practice. And they've told us that it also helps them to gain funding when they have received the quality mark. So just some latest news from Time Banking UK is that we have been talking to our government, the Department of Work and Pensions, and they called me to Westminster in London to have a conversation about time banking, and they wanted to know the difference between time banking and volunteering. So I sat with them for many months having this conversation about the difference between time banking and volunteering as we see it. And we were really pleased at the end of those conversations, they then understood the benefits to individuals who undertake time banking activities, in that it will increase their self-confidence and their self-esteem and their skills. And for those people in the UK that claim benefits, they have issued a statement which has gone through the lawyers to say that anyone in the UK that is claiming benefits can use their time banking hours to count towards job-seeking hours. And if anybody wanted to have a look at that statement, they can find it on the Daily Job Seeker website in the UK, and they can see the declaration that has been made there. So the Department of Work and Pensions issued that statement to every job centre in the UK so that the staff that man the front line can actually explain to claimants that they could look up their nearest time bank, and if there isn't a nearest time bank, then perhaps they might get involved in a time banking network that was further afield. But nevertheless, in the UK, when somebody earns time credits for every hour that they give to help somebody, they're interchangeable. So it doesn't matter where you live in the UK, you can spend those time credits at a time bank that might be near you. Or we recommend that individuals can donate their time to another person. So you can have a family that joins the time bank. You could have children that are part of that family earning time credits and then give them to their parents or their grandparents. Or they can save their time credits for a day when they might need them in the future, if they might fall ill, or if they don't feel that they need to spend them right at that moment. Just to be clear about the difference that we see time banking is to volunteering, is that Time Banking UK see our time banking opportunities as a way for people who might not normally volunteer to get involved in their community. So when we talk to local people, they might say, no, we don't really want to do volunteering. We don't have the time to give a certain number of hours to an organisation. But when we ask them, would they help a neighbour or a friend if they needed it, then most of the time the people will say, yes, I'll help somebody. So we see time banking as a lot less formal than volunteering, that people will do something to help another person when they want to do it and when it's convenient for them. And just to give you an idea of what's happening across the UK as a whole, so all of these groups of people are very often prioritised by time banks across the UK. So there is no time bank that is really the same, because it depends on where the time bank is located and what the demographics of the local people are. And obviously today we're focusing on older people, those with disabilities and refugees. But it also depends on where time banks get their funding from as to who they might prioritise. So it could be that there is funds available to focus on young people or older people. However, we have found that, and this is part of what we do as our support and our training, is that no time bank would be successful if they weren't involving the whole community. Because if they were just to focus on older people, for example, then there's not going to be enough diverse range of activities to give and receive as part of that time bank. So across the UK, we have got around about 41,000 people that are exchanging time as part of the time banks that are registered with Time Bank in UK. And that includes, not includes, but in addition to that, there's about 5,500 organisations. And when we talk about organisations that are involved, it's organisations giving and receiving time and resources as part of a time banking network on an hour-for-hour basis. We know that there's been 3.1 million hours that have been exchanged in the UK, and these statistics are live statistics that we have on our website. So we know that this is accurate because we provide software and a mobile phone app to anyone and any organisation that wants to create a time banking network. So every time somebody joins a time bank, the live data shows onto our website on the front page. Okay. So the link between Time Bank in UK and the time banks that are members of our organisation and the health service. So just a couple of examples is that we are currently undertaking a 3-year programme which has been funded by the Big Lottery to improve the lives of people in care homes. And that's happening at the moment in 3 locations across the UK. The leaflet that you see there on the right-hand side, called Time Banking in Health, was part of a 2-year programme funded by our Department of Health, where they wanted us to work with doctors to, if you like, inform and educate them about the health and well-being benefits of time banking. We have got some time banks that are actually based in doctors' surgeries, but for this particular project, it was about enabling older people to live in their homes for longer before going into the care system. So the new project that we've got going on is actually quite new. There's not a lot of time banks, as I know, that are currently doing that, and it's about the residents within care homes improving their quality of life by linking them back up with people in the community where they might not otherwise have the opportunity to do so. And then just to touch briefly on the refugees and asylum seekers. So we've also managed to get interest from local authorities who see that the time banking mechanism that we undertake can change the perceptions of the local community with regards to refugees and asylum seekers, because we believe that everybody in the community has an asset, and this is building on people's strengths. So communities will see refugees and asylum seekers as something very positive, making a positive contribution to their community. And also it will change the perceptions of maybe those people themselves. So it will give them more self-confidence